The European Union is an area of protection for people fleeing persecution or serious harm in their country of origin. Asylum is a fundamental right and an international obligation for countries, as recognized in the 1951 Refugee Convention. Hello, my name is Miriam. I'm from Italy, but currently I'm based in Germany, and I want to talk to you today about a hot issue. EU member states share a responsibility to receive asylum seekers in dignity and to ensure that they are treated fairly and that their cases are treated according to uniform standards. Procedures must be fair, effective through the EU, and not open to abuse. This ensures that similar result is achieved no matter where the asylum seeker applies. Besides, the European Union has established since 1999 a common European asylum system, and its main interventions are: first, provision of humanitarian assistance and development aid. Second, rescue at sea and protection of the EU borders. And third, relocation, resettlement and repatriation. But when it comes to the EU countries, are their asylum policies failing to fulfill the EU obligations? First of all, a fundamental premise must be made regarding the difference between resettlement and relocation. According to the UNHCR, resettlement means the selection and transfers of refugees
from a state in which they have been requested protection to a third country that will admit them.
Relocation, on the other hand, means the movement of refugees from one member state of the Union to another. The fundamental principle underlying this concept is that of intra-EU solidarity, which should push member states to come to the aid of those particularly involved in migration flows. Among the latter, Italy and Greece stand out. Therefore, the instruments used by the Union develop from these bases. It is the relocation policies that are of greater importance in the European debate, since the movement of immigrants from one country to another is entirely managed by the member states and the Union. In contrast, the condition of resettlement see a more prominent role of international law and United Nations, and are largely agreed upon through agreements with third states. Back then, in 2019, the Juncker Commission proposed a plan to relocate around 160,000 migrants from Italy and Greece to the rest of the Union, which was then approved by the majority of the member states, but not all of them. Of these 160,000 migrants, 120 are subject to mandatory relocation, while the other 40,000 are expected to move on the basis of voluntary proposals. But the reality is that member countries' approach on how to manage the flow of migrants had shown a deep division. Among the countries more hostile to these proposals on migration are Hungary, Poland, and Czechia. As these three countries back then didn't join the plan, only about 40,000 people were distributed. Besides, later in March 2020, the European Union Court of Justice ruled that Poland, Hungary and Czechia breached their obligation to take in their fair share of asylum seekers at the height of the refugee crisis in 2015. In consequence, in 2020, the European Commission proposed to reform the common European asylum system through a comprehensive approach to migration and asylum policy based on three main pillars. The first one is efficient asylum and return procedures. The second one is solidarity and fair share of responsibility. And the third one is to strengthen partnerships with third countries such as the EU and Turkey agreement. This crisis threatened to shake the European Union to its foundation. It marked a roadblock of resistance to agreed policies, particularly on resettlement and reception of migration and asylum seekers and refugees in Eastern Europe. I personally believe that other pillars should be added to the proposed reform of the Commission, such as ensuring a human and effective reception system, establishing an independent border monitoring mechanism to put an end to the abuses on the borders, and putting refugee protection and humanitarian principle at the center of the EU humanitarian agenda. These will help to make sure that the member states' asylum policies fulfill our EU obligations. And no other crisis can threaten to shake the foundations of the EU.